Okay, so we're starting a new unit, Unit 3, Reproduction and Development, and this is Lesson 1. Some major understandings we're going to talk about in this unit is that you will be able to use a variety of processes. All organisms and cells can produce offspring that are identical or similar to themselves. So we're going to talk about two very major different types of reproduction, sexual and asexual. And then during development, the predestined function of cells and the needs of organisms are fulfilled. So we're going to talk about how cells specialize, and all things are made up of cells, and depending on where these cells are, that genetic material is either turned on or turned off. Let's look at some vocabulary. We've got some vocabulary. So the first set of vocabulary words, 1 through 11, we will have a vocab quiz on November 19th. The second set of vocabulary words will be November 25th. And the last set of vocabulary words will be December 3rd. So November 19th, November 25th, and December 3rd. Okay, let's get started. So we've done diagrams like this before, and I've asked you to arrange the words from least complex to most complex. So in this case, it might be easier for us to start on the outside. What is the most complex? We have the word cell, chromosome, nucleus, gene, DNA. Well, I think that you'd all agree that the cell is the most complex. It embodies all of the others. Then inside the cell, we have organelles, and there's only one organelle that's actually listed here, which is the nucleus. And what's found in the nucleus? In the nucleus is where our chromosomes are. We get 23 from our mom and 23 from our dad. And our chromosomes contain the genetic material, which is our DNA. And then our DNA is made up of genes, where it contains the genes. So cell, nucleus, chromosomes, DNA, genes. Once you get to chromosomes, you can remember its alphabetical order, C, D, G. I think the cell and the nucleus is pretty obvious. A lot of students sometimes mix these three up. Let's take a closer look at that. Here's the nucleus. Here's our chromosomes. I think you've seen these. Here's a bigger picture of the chromosome right here. And then the chromosome contains our genes. Okay, let's take a closer look at the DNA double helix. So DNA is made up of what we call nucleotides. Now, we've talked about this before. DNA is, we just talked about this in the last unit, nucleic acids. Remember one of the macromolecules we talked about? And nucleic acids contain DNA and RNA, which is our hereditary information. So that should be a review. The DNA is made up of what's called nucleotides. Each nucleotide is made up of one sugar, one phosphate group, and one base. And these bases are what's called nitrogenous bases. They contain nitrogen. And there's 4 of them. You see them over here on the right. We have thymine, adenine, guanine, and cytosine. DNA is double-stranded. You can see that here, left and right. And that means that the nucleotides pair up and bond together, and they pair up in a certain way. We always have A with T and C with G. A with T, C with G. You're going to have to memorize that. So if we look at our color coding over here, this is an adenine, this is a thymine, this is a cytosine, this is a guanine. We're back to A, T, and then we have G on this side, C here, G here, C here, so on and so forth. But you have to memorize adenine pairs with thymine, cytosine pairs with guanine, and this is in DNA. There's a slight change when we get to RNA. And this is just showing you again the base pairing, A with T, C with G. This right here is, we're going to actually do this experiment. This is the extraction of DNA, and this is DNA coiled in a test tube. Okay, that's it for the first lesson.